Now, the government has defended its record on tackling knife crime on their third crackdown in 8 years. The Home Secretary, James Cleverly, says the new restrictions are aimed at closing what he calls a loophole, which allows some types of so-called zombie knives to be kept and sold. Here's what he said on the matter.
I became Home Secretary. I made the immediate decision to go further, to put forward this secondary legislation to support what we've already done, to make the possession of zombie knives illegal and to close the loophole. So I'm very pleased we're taking action now. We have seen a reduction in crime. We have a plan to drive it down further. That plan is working. We're determined to take these knives off the streets.
Well, I want to talk to somebody who's got far more knowledge of this subject than most of us, and that is knife crime campaigner Ken Hinds. Ken, thanks so much for coming in to the studio. You look like you have obviously been busy already today. Just tell us about, that's a stab vest you're wearing, Street Father Street Engagement Team. Tell me what you do.
What our group do is to go into these hotspot areas where you've got young people who congregate and you've got a degree of antisocial behaviour that can also lead to more serious violence. But what we do, we engage with the young people. Our stab-proof vest is not about being a vigilante. Our stab-proof vest is that what young people can identify with, that other people like themselves who are involved in that sort of life often wear. But we're showing them that there can be a positive aspect to wearing an outfit like this.
Is it also to protect yourself, though?
Not necessarily.
Conversations with
not necessarily.
people that might be armed with knives. I mean, on a daily basis, because the team works every day, or 5 days a week. So on a daily basis, how many people are you talking to that are armed with knives, and how successful are you in persuading them to hand them in?
Well, as I said, we don't always see the knives, but we know what young people will more likely have themselves armed. So yes, we do see knives, and when we do see knives, we do encourage them to give their knife up. We work with a young man called Farron Paul, who's been doing this for 5 years, an extraordinarily young man, extraordinarily successful in engaging with young people to give up their knives. Now, the thing about the way Farron does it, and we're supporting Farron in that endeavour, is that the people he takes the knives off are less likely to rearm themselves with a knife, as opposed to when the police take the knife off a young person, they get a slap on the wrist, and as soon as they're back in our community, they're back taking the knives. And not only that, it emboldens other young people to carry knives.
What did you make of, I think it was the Labour leader, Sir Keir Starmer, who's been saying that parents also have a big responsibility in this, and parents could actually take part in the knife amnesty and hand in these weapons as well? Yes, I agree that parents do have an important part to play. Like, for example, any parent that do not go and check their children's bedroom to see what they're actually bringing into the home is a person who's bury their head in the sand and neglecting their overall duty, because you find children have two faces. They've got the home face and they've got the street face. The street face is what can pose a problem to the parent in the long run. So my thing with the parent is, the parent also rings us up and we go to the parent's home and get the knives. These are the... So you do have parents ringing you up, asking you to collect the knife? Absolutely, so that what they find in the son's room. But they're scared because they're scared that their son will take retribution on the mother in that regard. Because they're saying, because the youngster, they don't know if the youngster's holding that knife for another gang member. And if that's the case, and you taking the weapon, that child can be in danger because of the bullying that will come and intimidation will come from his superior in that gang structure. This announcement by the government this week to close this loophole involving zombie-type knives, do you think that is going to work, or actually is it a ban in name only? Listen, that's their third attempt of trying to do something about banning knives.
they're not tackling the underlying issues. What young people tell me, and I'm in the colleges and schools and talk to the young people, is saying, I much prefer to be caught with my knife by a police officer, right, and get a slap on the wrist, than opposed to my opposition, to the ops that they call it, who will then mean that I could end up being murdered and carried to my grave by 6 of my peer. So if we don't tackle the underlying issue about, first of all, growing their emotional intelligence, and secondly, about dealing about the security aspect, about the safety aspect, this is where street fathers come in, because we have a presence, and we have a positive presence, because when they see us in the area, they know that they can approach us, and with whatever issues that may have, even if someone is running them down with knives, they come with us, and we make sure that anyone that's coming to harm them have to come through us, because you're all our children, and it's so important that that we safeguard our children in our community.
Ken, that's such a brilliant message. Thank you so much for coming in and talking to me, and you're doing some great work. We need more of you. Thank you so much, Ken Hinds.